Hello, ladies and gents. I just wanted to take a quick break from the cybercrime and cult talk in between working on some of my other videos, just to address this whole travesty that's going on, this Travis Scott Astroworld tragedy. And I just wanted to bring up a few quick points. And I know I always say, I'm going to make it quick. It winds up being like 5 hours long. But no, seriously, for real, because I'm still doing research on this. I mainly just wanted to bring up the topic of crisis actors. And I wanted to say, as someone who has seen lots of crisis actors and done a lot of research on them, I in no way feel that Madeline Eskins is a crisis actor. The other young man who went viral either, but mainly her. Um, for one, the biggest indicator is that her story contradicts the mainstream narrative. Um, you have a lot of people who've kind of regurgitated a local news station saying that there was somebody going around injecting people with syringes with drugs or something. And I'm going to just post a link below where she very astutely explains, using her firsthand eyewitness account, why she does not think that was the case. Not only does she or any of the other eyewitness individuals I've heard of recall seeing that, they also said they know of no one who has seen that. So right now it's just basically a nameless, faceless security guard who's reported getting jabbed in the neck. No one else. Not saying it didn't happen, but again, just saying there's not as much evidence, mainly video evidence, which we have lots of that thanks to social media, to support that. A lot of other people's stories that were on opposite ends of the festival are being corroborated, whether verbally or with images, video, and it's devastating. Like, it's devastation on a level that is hard to even verbalize. Like, my heart breaks so much for the families and friends of the victims, those souls who needlessly perished. They became unwilling martyrs that night. Not even going to get into what I think about Travis Scott's apology, at least not in this clip. No, can't do it. More so wanted to focus on the people who I feel are being authentic. That's all I say about that. I feel like this thing was such, and I guess the word travesty really is a good word to describe it, no pun intended, because it was like the perfect storm of events to create like this mass chaos and confusion. Um, Again, still researching it, don't know as many details about this as some of the other similar events that have happened, but you have obviously understaffed, you know, security and so-called medical team, right? Understaffed with that. The ones that they were staffed with, some of them seemed very, very inexperienced, especially medically. They had people, I guess, who were assigned to provide medical aid who did not even know how to properly take a pulse. On top of that, in addition to it being filled to almost, I guess, some people are saying up to double the capacity that it should have been. 50,000 tickets were sold, and they're saying that means that there were so many more extra people in that space that it was well over maximum capacity, which is unsafe. You have that aspect, right? You have the aspect of people who are in positions to be able to do something to help bring an end to this, just refusing to, just flat out ignoring concert goers and attendees who were telling them something is not right. I'm sure you've all seen the video of the girl who's trying to like frantically alert this cameraman, the videographer. She's right next to him. He looks at her, acknowledges her, and just, I don't know if he was under MK Ultra mind control or what, but that was almost as spooky as looking at Travis Scott watch lifeless bodies get CPR and continue to sing. I mean, it's just, and that's the other aspect of it. Again, talking about people who had the ability to stop this. He's the main one. And yes, I know depending on a concert venue, the artist can only see or hear so much going on in the crowd. I know that when you're up on a stage, sometimes you can only see what's going on immediately in front of you, depending on the lighting situation where people are standing. But he physically made eye contact. He even acknowledged certain things were going on. There's a viral video of Linkin Park kind of stopping a show and ceasing the performance to acknowledge one person, something unsafe happened to them, and in order to prevent it from getting worse, they acknowledged it, encouraged the fans to remember to keep safety in mind. If someone falls down, pick them up. And that's just one person, okay? I don't know what kind of mind frame Travis Scott was in, what drugs he was on or whatever, but the fact that this was happening closer to the stage, it wasn't like it was so far back where like people probably looked like ants to him. This is up front. He sees an ambulance. He sees lifeless bodies having CPR performed on him, and he keeps going. Like he might, I think one or two times he mentioned to ask a certain area people to kind of clear the way a little bit to let an ambulance go through. But he didn't stop the show. No one stopped the show. It was like the show must go on. And I'm not gonna bring up the conspiracy theories about sacrifices or anything, at least not in this video. But definitely people there are saying the death toll is likely way higher than 8. And yes, drugs are involved in music festivals a lot, but as Madeline states, like there's no way that drugs would have all kicked in for everybody at the same exact time. It was like around the time of, you know, Travis encouraging, again, another aspect of this that created the perfect storm of chaos, encouraging his fans to charge the stage, rage. Like he encourages them to do that. So at this point, they were mentioning like a countdown that happened, a lot of people, and it was around the time that it stopped. The countdown, stopped, and he was set to start performing where a lot of this happened. And so, I mean, it's very, very deep. The rabbit hole goes very deep. It's very complex. There's clips out there of some of the music that was playing all day long, and I'm going to link some of those clips below as well. There are people, I haven't seen an event to rock social media like this in a while. There are eyewitness accounts going viral. There are spiritual advisors breaking down the esoterics. You have people breaking down gematria and numerology. It's very interesting, but basically the thing about it that's so unfortunate is like if it had been an event where one or two of these single things might have happened, I could see people saying, okay, it's an unfortunate coincidence or what have you. But the fact that all this happened is just something going on. Something much darker beneath the surface is going on. The music that they played all day long, you can find this anywhere just about, Instagram, TikTok. There are a lot of people who, even younger people in attendance, who say they normally kind of like that music. The fact that it was just played and pumped through the speakers all day long, hours on end, I guess, in between people's sets. You listen to that music, I mean, I couldn't even listen to a 30-second clip on Instagram, but you have the people who have studied like the esoterics of lighting and music, and even though some of the lighting effects don't always cause problems to all people, there can be certain frequencies that lights can kind of create, right? That's why you have some people are very sensitive to like epilepsy and seizures when they say LED strobe flashing or whatever. So that having an influence on, I guess, wavelengths, in addition to the music, which you have people talking about how the music just seemed a little bit more, I guess, kind of like a harsh tone, had like a harsher tonality. Not when he was playing, but the music earlier through the day. Just lots of kind of like binaural beats, just extremely fast. And people are bringing up the fact that music in like 432 hertz is more harmonious with the human body, with nature and stuff, and the fact that music at like 440 hertz and some of like the 500 hertzes is more kind of, it creates angst and agitation or aggression. It could make you just want to dance and move and be active, but there's also people, who've studied that stuff too, or saying, again, just the perfect storm. XXX Tentacion is one of the few people that I've heard address how music does have effect. It has like a frequency, and it's not just kind of like a spiritual phenomenon, although it definitely has a spiritual aspect to it. There's evidence out here to support that, to prove that, and I'm probably going to be adding links below for a while, the next couple of days. But getting back to Madeline Eskins, I just have to say again, this woman is a hero. The fact that she not only herself passed out and was so close to death and on the brink of death is a miracle she survived, one. Two, the fact that she started helping saving other lives so shortly after almost losing her own. I mean, she talks about how there were not enough AEDs and like the first aid kits, the things, the masks that go over people's face to provide oxygen. I mean, you just had some people, it's like in tragedy, it either brings out the best in you or the worst in you. And you had many patrons just stepping up, trying to help, put an end to this and save anybody that they saw was in danger, or had their safety compromised. You had those kids trying to tell the staff that worked there like something's not right. You have people chanting to Travis to stop the show, right? You have attendees helping body surf people to safety, like out of the area of the crowd. Then you have people like the people in the VIP section who initially, before they knew exactly what was going on, was getting upset about people being brought to that area who were feeling ill or, I don't know, were unconscious. Um, there's some patrons and attendees, concert goers talking about that. I mean, it's like, really, how selfish can you be? Granted, it was not cool that there were people there who, jumped the gates, the entrance turnstiles, and didn't pay. But now is not the time to be thinking about that. And I would hope that whenever it became apparent the severity of, the nature of things, that they would have changed. But according to some eyewitnesses, there were people complaining about that before they realized the magnitude. It's like, I'm sorry, even if it was just one person, this person is ill. This person is sick. We can do something right now to change whether or not this is a life or death situation. And you're worried about the money you paid for a ticket. So it was like this juxtaposition of good and evil happening at the most extreme levels. You have people stepping up, being heroes. There are people who they say, if so and so, this good Samaritan or this stranger hadn't helped out, I know I would probably still not be alive. If they hadn't crowd surfed me here, if they hadn't, gotten me CPR or whatever. And then you have people who were the people who literally were trampling over other people just to get closer to this stage. It's like unfathomable. It's unimaginable. I'm literally speechless and tongue-tied. Like, I don't even know if Jesus came out back today. Like, would people be like running and trampling like that? It's scary. I mean, yeah, Travis is an acclaimed artist, but he's not here to save the world. He can't, put an end to the coronavirus or end world hunger. He's just a man. It's like, what kind of influence did he have on these people, mostly young children? Like, earlier in the day, you see footage like, it was daytime. People, when they were just coming through admission, they were already trampling over each other. I mean, just sheer chaos. The perfect storm. So anyway, wrapping this up. Yeah, just as you guys know, this isn't stuff I usually talk about, but I don't think I've been this affected by a news story since the Champlain Towers condo collapse in Miami. Just so many souls just lost. It's devastating, and definitely the media may not make the death toll go up from 8, but mark my words, if you're watching alternative media or independent media, you'll probably see, because there are people who are saying that they themselves saw at least 2 or 3 people, up to 10 people without a pulse. And that's just the people they saw immediately around them. So if this was like, you know, a vast area that can comfortably hold 50,000 people, you can imagine. Again, just the lives lost, it's heartbreaking. And people are saying, oh, there's going to be some lawsuits, but you can't put a price on human life. You can't. Some things just can't be compensated for. And there have been similar instances that happened in the past, and we thought that we learned from them, but evidently, I guess we haven't, you know. Live Nation, Ticketmaster, the other concert, you know, promoters and producers and stuff, they're looking into them. I think I heard one blogger say that one of the managers was Britney Spears' former manager or something, which that would definitely be interesting. Definitely a different story for a different day. There's like they're trying to cut corners, you know, like to save a buck, so they don't hire adequate, you know, security or EMTs, you know, first responders, paramedics, whatever. It's terrible. I mean, you can't skimp on safety. Like, safety should always be the number one priority, and you just constantly see it falling by the wayside. Just like Alec Baldwin's movie set, he was the producer. You know, some people are saying, oh, he's just an actor, he shouldn't be held accountable. No, he was also the producer, so he is in charge and head of everything that includes safety. You know, the props, weapons, any of that. And there was actually like a walk-off, I think I heard, shortly before the incident where the young lady was accidentally killed. Well, accidentally, allegedly, who even knows? But basically, again, they were saying that the conditions were so unsafe. Like, just trying to skimp, trying to like save a buck, save a dollar. And it's like, no, safety should be the number one priority, not an afterthought. So, and that, I'm going to close and just ask you guys to continue to keep these people in your thoughts and prayers. There are hotlines for people to call if they have not yet heard from a loved one since the event. And just in the days and weeks to come, we're probably going to continue to hear some of the most disturbing stories we've ever heard, see more of these disturbing videos and images, and I just hope that it doesn't go in vain. I just hope it all doesn't go in vain. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to Travis's career as a result of this. Alright guys, take care and be safe.